If you love the look of the background in this card, stay tuned and I'll show you how easy it is to create. Hi, this is Sage Kimball and I'm the Mad Stamper with another technique video for card makers and paper crafters. When I saw this die cut from the Artistic Expressions bundle from Stampin' Up, I couldn't wait to create a striking background to put it on. I'll show you just how I made this one with watercolor paper, a brush, water, and inks. I know I want the finished piece about 4 by 4 inches so that the die cut will fit on it. But I cut the paper 5 by 5 inches so I'd have enough extra to tape it to this old cutting board. I do this because when the paper gets wet, it can buckle and curl. This just makes it easier to work with. You'll need fairly dark inks for this technique, as the water will dilute the colors. I chose Calypso Coral, Gorgeous Grape, and Evening Evergreen, which is the same color as the die cut. I start by spritzing a very little bit of water on the paper. Then I wet my brush, pick up some ink from the pad, and add the color to the paper. If the ink is too dry, it doesn't spread, and I'll add water from the brush. If it's too wet, I'll blot up some water with a paper towel, so I'll get a darker bit of color. Now I take some Calypso Coral and add it to this area. The paper isn't as wet here, so the color is much darker. I add some water to it with my brush so it will spread and lighten a bit. I'm not trying to make a specific pattern because I want the colors to look a bit random. I had in mind Calypso Coral for one flower and Gorgeous Grape for another, with areas of evergreen to represent leaves. But I didn't need or even want them to be exact. I was more interested in an abstract pattern. This is a very informal technique, so each time I make one, it will be unique. I continue to add patches of color. Now I'll start adding the evergreen to fill in the white spaces. The paper is too dry here, so I add some water with my brush. Although I'm using an Aqua Painter, I don't have any water in the barrel. I can control the water better that way. I just pick up some water from the cup when I need some extra. I decided it needed some more Gorgeous Grape and add some to this corner. I fill in the rest of the piece with Evening Evergreen, so it weaves through the brighter colors. Now I can hold the die cut up to the background to see how it will look. When I'm happy with the colors, I set it aside and won't take it off the board until it's completely dry. The watercolor paper won't be totally flat until it's adhered to the cardstock mats. Here are the 3 versions of this watercolor background I've made. The one I just finished is the darkest and brightest, and this one is very light and pastel. I decided to use it to cut out the backgrounds for these butterflies from the butterfly wings dies. So this watercolor technique can be used for die cuts as well as background. Now I'm going to show you how to attach the die cut to the background. The only way to adhere a die cut this intricate without making a mess is to use adhesive sheet before cutting it out. I've cut a piece of cardstock 4 1/8 by 4 3/8, which is just big enough for the die. Then I cut adhesive sheet the same size. I remove the backing and adhere it to the cardstock. Now I didn't get it quite to the edge here, which means I'll need to be careful when I position the die to avoid that area. Remember to put the die against the cardstock side and place the adhesive sheet down in the cut and emboss machine. I'm going to run it through the machine 5 or 6 times because of all the intricate detail, plus the extra thickness of the adhesive sheet. Now I can remove the die cut from the die and the remaining cardstock. I don't have my die brush right now, so I rub the die cut enough to start loosening the cutouts. A great advantage to using adhesive sheet is that as you peel it away from the cardstock, most of the little pieces will come out. Then I can remove any that remain with my paper piercing tool. This is a little fiddly because some of the tiny cutouts stick to the floral piece, and I want to make sure to get rid of all of them. When all the cutouts are cleaned up, I can position the floral on my background. Another advantage to adhesive sheets is that they are repositionable at first, so I can move the die cut. Now I can cut the watercolor piece down to size, and then I press firmly on the die cut so the adhesive will be permanent. So that's all there is to it. Just get in there and play with colors and see what you like and what you don't like. Then experiment with ways to use what you've created. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, share it with your friends, and leave me a comment. For more inspiration and instructions, be sure to visit my blog at www.stampingmadly.com and follow me on Facebook. Then don't miss another great video. Subscribe to the Mad Stamper YouTube channel now.